G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen from Southern Cross Combat, and I'm here with Mr. Luke Pezzutti. First off, Luke, what a very successful weekend for yourself. We're doing the interview sitting down. You don't have the energy of a man who went 5 from 6. How are we feeling?
Feeling good at this stage. It's nice when it's all done, you know. Look, we've been to Melbourne a ton of times, you know, since after lockdown. We had that break from lockdown, then we all started again, which was unreal. And the first set of fights that we started back with was all travelling down to Melbourne every 3 months. So, to be honest, I look at the pavilion like it's our home away from home. We've been here, I don't know how many fights. I think we've had like probably about 10 events here now. So, and today was just another nice weekend for us down here. You know, we started off really nice last night with Marwan taking out Michael Manu, and then George obviously taking out Jarrett. So,
why so often down to Melbourne? Is that a conscious effort to want to travel with the team? Is it just opportunity? How come?
Yeah, I think it's probably more opportunity. I mean, look, we like traveling and going away together. I think as a team you bond, it gives you time. We spend so much time in the gym, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and you've got your lives. You come away for a weekend away, and you really just get to be in each other's heads and talk to each other, and it really brings you close. I think it brought us a lot closer, and we get to know each other. The boys all gel, and they all turn up for each other as well. I mean, you see tonight we had like a big team. We've got 4 guys fighting today with the 2 last night, so 6. And then a lot of the team members came down to support and be part of it and be around. And I mean, we train in and out every day, so it's our home away from home. You know, we've all got 2 lives. You've got your normal everyday life, and then you've got your gym life and what you do as you're out and about.
Talking about that gym life and that traveling, it's not even a joke, but I say it to George when I see him. You know when Geroge Mangos walks into a room because like 6 guys show up. How important is that to have that gel and to have that gym kind of community between everyone?
Yeah, I think that's important. Like I said, you know, you got to turn up every day. You sweat, you're smashing each other, you know, you're training, you're supporting, you're nurturing each other. It's a real battle between people, you know. Like I try to get the guys to understand that, listen, you got to be really competitive against each other. You're going to push each other every day. You're going to go up, up, up. But there's a line that we don't cross as far as, you know, don't hurt each other, you know. Like, we are the team, but you know, you got to work hard together, and you got to lift everybody up. You got to push every day. So and they do that. And then, like you said, I think George has a presence no matter how many people are around him. You know, he's got a gift for fighting. We could sort of recognise that in him when he started at the gym, and it's been nice to, you know, help nurture that, and then help, you know, fan the flame and get it burning bright in him. And the world's his oyster, so to speak, and then he's also now become that team leader where he's you know, helping other people. He's given back. He's given other people opportunities, and you know, he's been really good.
You touched on it there, but you know, a fantastic performance by him yesterday. What did you make of his performance in that fight?
Oh, look, if you know the backstory behind it, I mean, he had a really bad staph infection. He's been sick. He had like week off training, really hardcore antibiotics, and this is 2 weeks out. They talked about the mark under his arm, but that was like the remnants of that. Now, a lot of guys I know, they pull out. When they get a staph that bad, they pull out, you know. So we just had a real hell of a camp. So all I can tell people is you wait till you see the 100% version of George, because, you know, we've been fighting infection and stuff this last one. The one before was when that influenza was going around. He was sick as a dog going into that fight against, what's his name last?
Justin Van Heerden.
Against Justin last time, you know. So I just feel like we got to battle through ups and downs and it's curveballs, and just try to be professional all the time. And I think that's what he brings.
Is that decision to push forward through the sickness, through the ill, through the hardship, is that him? Is that you? Like when he gets staph, does the thought of maybe we shouldn't fight cross anyone's mind?
No, that's not our first thought. And I think that happens with everybody, you know. If we get injuries and we push, and, you know, these guys are not looking to do this as, oh, this is my hobby and I do it on the weekend, and, oh, yeah, I've had 2 fights. They're all looking to make it to UFC. We're not just looking we don't want to just get in there. We want to get in there and win titles. That's I think, the dream and the goal of half the boys. Whether it happens or not, we don't know, right? And I think you get injuries. Been in the game for a long time. Injuries happen. You're going to get cuts. You're going to get bruises. You're going to get knocks. So we learn how to work around it. And this was another one. If I thought it's going to impede with his actual performance, then we would have actually gone, let's not do it. Let's pull out. But you build a lot of resilience and a lot of character by preparing all the way. And if you get there and you can go through with it, it's even better. So, we know that life's not always perfect, and this is part of it,
Now, when I spoke to him after the victory last night, he's kind of looking at getting back in November. As his coach, your view of it, of like how important is it to kind of build that momentum and keep the ball rolling?
Yeah, I think it's very important. And if you're healthy and your body's holding up and there's nothing wrong, then you keep fighting. If there's things that we need to stop and work on and take a step back and look at, then we'll have a break, I think all of the guys have good dietitians. We look after each other. Like I said, we go really hard, but we go nice. So I think that's part of just being careful, looking after each other, and you make it through. So I think if he stays healthy, we stay active. I mean, like every fighter, we want to make it on the UFC. And I know George has got a big ambition for it. I'm sure they're watching and interested. They're hounding, they're always looking. But it's not about rushing and pushing that pace. We'd like to get another fight in November for activity and just, get back to work.
Do you think there's a name in particular on your mind for that fight? Do you have an opponent you'd like to see him face?
Well, to be honest, when I saw Abdullah make a comment the other day, I sent George a message and said, look, too, we know we're fighting in November, but he's obviously got a different opponent. Look, to me, it doesn't really matter who's there. Like we don't, like you see, we took on Justin, we'll take on Jared, we'll take on anybody. It's not really scared of who's going to be there because we can beat anybody. We have a belief and just believe in your skill and ability and what we're doing. Work hard every day, and you can beat anybody.
George is a young guy. He 21 last week, I believe. 2 weeks ago, excuse me. Sorry, George. How do you keep a young guy like that kind of in check? He's a young guy. He wants to go out. Of course, he can enjoy his victory, but there's a level of enjoying your victory and then going too much. Do you have to be like, hey, man, let's keep that focus on the goal? Or, like, is he kind of all right? Like, how do you kind of keep a young guy in check?
Well, thankfully, I don't have to do too much of that because these guys, not just George, but the whole team, they seem to be more focused in this career idea than, just normal kids their age, They don't want to go out and party and drink. I mean, they do go out, let their hair down, which I think they have to do, they balance life out a little bit. But, they just don't want to go out and party, because there's laser focus on what's the prize, man, where am I going? That's what we're headed towards. And that's, to be honest, that was what made me turn back up every day, That's why I don't mind being in there early mornings, late afternoons, late nights, weekends, coming away. It's taxing on family life and stuff for them and for me. But where there's so much effort and energy put in, it's easy for me to also turn up and be there for them. So because they're committed, it makes it really easy for me. If it was 10 years ago, I think those guys would have just gone out and been drinking and said, you know what, I'll fight another time, I'm 21. But he's got a good head on his shoulders. He said, man, you know what, I'm going to fight, man. This is what I want to do. So, yeah.
You talk about, we were talking about George, but you talk about how it's an idea that kind of goes through the whole team, right? And I find the position of coach so interesting, especially when you've got a team of young guys, right? Because you're not their dad, but you're not their friend. You're like this kind of in-between. And I know you said they're not the loosest guys. They can enjoy themselves, but they're not doing anything reckless. But how do you kind of balance that? Where it's a group of young guys, but you're not a father figure exactly, but you're also not like one of the buddies. You do have that level kind of above them.
Yeah, and Martin Ewan asked me last night, he goes, Luke, how do you look after so many? Like, I don't know, it's funny because I've been teaching them from when they were kids. And like you said, I am a father figure, and I had that presence from my coach too. You know, I look at my coach Joe LaFurla, that he was a father figure for me, not my dad. Like I never misrepresent. You know, my dad is my dad, man. But you know, you have somebody in your life who's really important. And I think, you know, I read a book a long time ago, and it was a Spartan book, and they talked about that's how it was. You know, you have your family, have your parents, you have a mentor, somebody else, and everyone had the different mentor, and that's a person who also helped mold you to become the man that you are. So it's nice to think that that's the role I play for these guys, and these guys as fighters. But there's a lot of kids in the gym who maybe they're not going to fight; they're just turning up, and hopefully have a really positive influence in their life, and make them also to be strong individuals inside the gym, outside the gym, and in life.
You mentioned earlier Marwan's victory as well. You know, he kicked off the card last night. He kicked off the whole weekend for you guys. How did you rate his performance? What did you think of him?
Yeah, he's another one. You know, Moroccan sensation, I've been calling him. So, yeah, he's been a really welcome addition to the gym, you know. So, really fitted in, just ticked all the boxes. He was the same age as the guys. He clicked. Different upbringing, different background, but again, another guy is here by himself. He's got his uncle he lives with, and he just wants to make it. You know, he's got the same goal. You know, it comes from a different country, different upbringing, but the same dream, the same belief, the same ideals, you know. So he really slotted in quite well for us, and it's been good for us, been good for him. And I mean, once he starts letting go, nobody wants to stand with him. Everyone wants to, I say, everyone wants to stand with you until you start hitting them. And then they don't want it anymore, you know?
That was a fight that he stepped in on a relatively short notice. Was that, how did you feel about that? Was there a moment of like, maybe we shouldn't do this? Or were you like, all right, let's go? Was he ready?
Yeah, well, he actually fought on my small promotion super fight a few weeks ago. So Michael was supposed to fight another one of my students, Michael Stanoff. And unfortunately, Michael, you know, he has some family problems. Not family problems. His grandma is really unwell, and he's a primary carer for her. You know, and he's very close. And Michael's a real family guy, and he'd been battling to her health really going downhill, and he's battling, trying to train and prepare for this fight. He did so well in his last fight, and we wanted to keep this momentum up as well. And just the timing of it was really poor. Marwan just had the fight on Super Fight, and he won that in the first round. He come through uninjured. So it's sort of like, you know, Mike had to pull out. And when I thought Michael Manu might say, look, you know, Marwan hasn't had enough fights. He's not really the guy I'm looking to fight. Where Mike has had a lot more fights, it's a good meet. Both those fights would have been good fights, no matter who fought, I think Michael or Marwan. So Marwan being ready and hungry, and, you know, I mean, like you said yourself, last year I think he had some incredible number of fights. I think he's probably the most active fighter I've had. He just fight every week, and yeah, I'll fight, you know. Last minute, 1 second, look, all the guys are ready to go, you know. It's the same as with freestyle you saw last night, Jake Popper with...
Case of Murdoch.
Yeah, and Casper just jumping in last minute. But they're the same, you know. Those guys are just training hard every day, day in, day out, just ready to go opportunities. So I suppose that's what we do, mate.
I didn't realize that it was, I didn't know if Michael was injured or whatever, so please give him my love when you see him. Although now Manu is now coming off a first-round stoppage, do you think maybe Manu and Stanoff is a fight that could still happen? Is that something you'd look at, or maybe move on from that and Stanoff's next opponent will be someone else?
I know they haven't had a good night against us, a good 2 days against us, with no disrespect. I love the guys from Dominance, you know. I mean, we're all part of the same Machado affiliation and stuff like that, and I know they've been that for a long time. So, yeah, look, I would love that fight to happen, you know, but we'll just fight anybody, you know. I don't really care. It is getting tough to get some matches. We are getting a little bit of a reputation, and which is a good thing. So we never take easy matches, you know. Marwan 2-0 fighting, 7-4 with Michael. So, you know, it was a big step up, and we just go, yeah, let's do it. George against Jared, 8-2 against 4-0. you know, and the age difference as well, 10 years. You know, Jared did a good job. Like, I really compliment him. I enjoyed that fight. It was a tough one, and he's a very hard guy to stylistically prepare for, because there's not many guys that can do what Jarrett does. And compliments, you know, I love the freestyle guys. We're all friends outside of this, and have like a mutual respect for each other. So we'll always be around.
And finally, for me, I do appreciate the time. Lions Den, and this weekend is a perfect example of it. Lions Den is a gym that's not just winning, they're finishing. And they're finishing quickly. What is going on? What's going on in the training room? Why is this happening?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's unreal, right? Just belief, you know. I think belief. We had a show where Abraham, who won tonight, he was the first fight and just started off. He like just went out and knocked the guy out, first punch, bang, you know. Like, it was like 13 seconds, I think, his knockout. Then we had another one straight after. It was like 11-second knockout, then an 18-second knockout. We're like, and it's just rolled on from there. Everyone's just knocking somebody out. So I'm not going to say, let's change anything.
This guy's got no idea what he's talking about.
Correct. Everyone's knocking someone out except for you, George. You're the only man with the sub.
You can't teach me how to knock anyone out.
We just make him guess what he's doing.
Got killer hands.
When someone wins a title, I like to end the interview by saying the night belongs to them. I said that to George last night. If the weekend belongs to anyone, I believe the weekend belongs to you. Luke, congratulations on all the success this weekend. Best of luck in the future. Safe travels home, and I thank you so much for the time, my friend.
Joel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I love your podcast, mate.
Of course. Thank you, brother.
Keep up the hard work. You know?
I will. Thank you so much.